Hello everyone. So we're gonna go over a few concepts of 3D design in AutoCAD, and in order to do so, I have to introduce some of the tools that we have in AutoCAD 3D, and we briefly gonna go over um, how we're gonna set up our 2D design first, 2D AutoCAD design first, because 3D design relies heavily on our precision of the 2D sketches that we have. So I'm gonna go over how we set up our units and how we set up our how we look at the different planes in our 3D space and so on. So first thing first, I'm gonna go over a few basic things to how to maneuver our 3D space in AutoCAD. Uh, you might not see the 3D tools in your ribbon in AutoCAD. If you want to use the ribbons or the commands uh, as icons, you can right click on your ribbon and you can go on show tabs and click on 3D tools. And now you see it appeared on my ribbon over here, the 3D tools. Uh, some of the most important commands that we use in 3D design, other than the 2D tools that we're going to be using, is I would say the uh, the extrude command is very important. The subtract, depending on the project that you're using, slice is important. Union, we're gonna use it. Press pull is very important. So what we're gonna do first is show you how we can maneuver, as I said, our 3D space. To do so, what you have to do is hold Shift on your keyboard, hold down the wheel on your mouse, hold down the wheel on your mouse, and just move your mouse. And as you can see, you can look at the different angles of your model in AutoCAD 3D. You can zoom in and zoom out however you want. And you see, as I do that, the cube over here is changing too. So that's the other way to look at our 3D model. I can hit, for example, this angle. Now on this model, it's considered back. In our model, it might be different. Or I can go ahead and, let's say, look at the bottom. I can go and even choose an angle between a few planes that I have. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys is the kind of view, how we see the 3D model that we have. If you go on your left top hand side over here where it says custom view, when I click on that, I still have the options of top, bottom, left, right views that I previously showed you. But the other capability that AutoCAD has is you can see an object in a more realistic view, or I can hit a parallel, and it makes it more, I would say, for design purposes, it takes out the depth that we see. So the other thing I wanted to show you is over here, again, next to the custom view. If I hit current, we have a different options on how we can see our 3D object. If you want to look at you look at it as a 2D view, basically how we started drawing our object, you can hit this one. So you can see all the lines. We have conceptual, we have hidden, we have realistic, which I was on, shaded, and so on. And you also are able to create your own view, which we are not gonna get too much in depth in that, because that's not actually part of the design, and you might have different preferences on the view that you choose. So now I'm going to go ahead and start say a new project. And this is a 2D plane that I have that you guys are very familiar with. It's a XY plane. And the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and make sure I have the right units. Why that is important is because the precision that we have in our 2D design kind of determines how precise our 3D model gonna be, and it kind of reduces if we are more precise, it reduces error in future for a 3D modeling, so we won't have objects overlapping or so on. So I'm gonna go ahead and type units. Okay, and you see it is set on decimal. The precision is 4 decimal places, which is okay for most of the projects, and the units are inches. Now, depending on what kind of project you're working on, whether it's detailing, whether it's a big project that you want to present, or maybe it's like a small connections or like a structures, or even for mechanical design, you're going to be changing your units. So usually for architecture and for engineering, we go ahead and use architectural units. But as you can see, our precision going to change. So instead of giving me a decimal places, is giving me like a 1/16 over an inch, which I can go all the way up to 1/256 of an inch, which is pretty precise. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and have it as engineering, and I'm gonna have my precision as what it is. I'm gonna have my units as inches because I think that's feasible, and I'm gonna hit OK. All right, so you guys are already familiar with 2D design. I'm just gonna use a simple tool to kind of draw an object. Let's say draw a rectangular. I'm gonna put polyline and make sure my ortho is on. Let's say 12 inches. I type 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches, and I close it. Okay, let's move it over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and create a box out of it through to the object that we have right now. As you can see, if I hold shift and hold the wheel of the mouse down, again, as I said before, and kind of move my mouse, is you can see that this is just a 2D object in my XY plane. And I'm gonna go back and hit top over here. Or excuse me, let me go ahead and there you go. Go back to my plane. All right, so I want to use the extrude command, as I mentioned before. You either can hit this button over here, or you can simply type extrude. All right, and then now that I'm in my command, I'm gonna select the object that I want to extrude. I select that and I enter. All right, now I can specify the depth that I want my object to be in Z plane. So let's type 12 inches, enter. All right, now I have the box, but you cannot see it right now because we are still in a 2D plane. We are looking at we are looking at our object from top. So I'm gonna go ahead again, and I'm gonna move my kind of view, and as you can see, we have the box over here. Now, one thing that I wanted to show you is that this is the best way to create kind of a solid objects. But what if I want to create a pipe with a specific kind of thickness? Of course, there are many ways to do that in AutoCAD, but something that I'm gonna use is the most straightforward, maybe not much feasible in a more complex modeling. But let's go ahead and show you guys how we can kind of simply create a hollow pipe, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put a 6-inch diameter circle over here, and I'm gonna type offset, and let's say I want my thickness of the pipe to be 1/4 inch, so I type 1/4. And as you can see, we use a lot of 2D kind of tools in our 3D modeling. Okay, now I have 2 circles, and I extrude them. When I extrude them, I'm gonna have, let me go to my conceptual view. I'm gonna have one solid object. The reason is that the AutoCAD kind of extruded both circles that we had over here. And as you can see, if I move one of them, let's say like 24 inches over here, we actually do have 2 objects. So in order to create our pipe, back over here, what we have to do is use another command, which is called the subtract command. So I'm gonna go back in my 2D kind of view, and I'm gonna type subtract. Of course, you can press subtract from here too. So let's do that one more time. Subtract. Okay. I'm gonna click on my main object, my exterior circle, hit enter, and then I'm gonna click on my inner circle and hit enter again. And you might not see it in this view because it's a wireframe view, but AutoCAD actually created our hollow shape that we were trying to create. And as you can see, our pipe is complete. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and show you a few other things that we're gonna be using in 3D design. One is setting up our kind of X, Y, and Z coordinates. As you can see down here, my coordinates are shown. We draw an XY plane, and Z was our depth. So I can, for example, change it here. And as you can see, I can play with it. So let's say I put my Y here, and my X is our depth now. And our Z is coming toward me. One thing that you have to pay attention is that normally in AutoCAD, in the 2D tools that we have, we cannot draw on the Z plane, right? So if I draw a line over here, it draws it on my XY plane, you see? So as you can see, there is no depth on it. Okay,